The sun was slowly sinking below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the quiet suburban neighborhood. Birds chirped their final songs of the day, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of trees, creating a soothing symphony of nature's lullaby. But as the shadows lengthened, a sense of unease began to creep into the air, a feeling that something was amiss, something that couldn't be explained by the gentle embrace of twilight. I had taken on the role of providing in-home care for Mrs. Thompson, a kind-hearted elderly woman who had been touched by the cruel hand of dementia. Her once bright eyes had grown dim, and her memories were slipping away like grains of sand through an hourglass. My job was to assist her, to be there during those precious moments when her lucidity returned. The house she lived in was a quaint two-story abode, its walls echoing with the whispers of days gone by. I had heard stories about how it had been in her family for generations, a place filled with laughter, love, and memories. Yet, there was an undercurrent of unease that seemed to seep through the very walls, a sensation that something lingered just out of sight. In her room, we had set up a baby monitor, a small device that allowed us to keep an ear on her during her waking moments. The soft chime of bells, pinned to her sheets, served as an alert system, letting us know when she was attempting to rise from her bed. But it was what I heard over that monitor that chilled my blood. Countless times, I had listened to Mrs. Thompson's voice drifting from her room, murmuring questions to an unseen presence. "Who are you?" she would ask, her tone a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. "What is it?" she would inquire, her voice tinged with a hint of fear. The room, bathed in soft light, would appear empty to my eyes, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was there, lurking in the shadows. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky took on a deep indigo hue, I found myself sitting with Mrs. Thompson in the living room. The gentle hum of the air conditioning was the only sound that accompanied us, or so I thought. Suddenly, the bells on the baby monitor began to jingle, their melodic chime ringing through the room. My heart skipped a beat as I looked at Mrs. Thompson, her expression vacant as she gazed ahead. There was no logical explanation for the bells to jingle on their own. The windows were closed, the ceiling fan was still, and the air conditioning was barely a whisper. A chill ran down my spine as a feeling of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The unease had been growing since my first day in the house. Cabinets would swing open without any prompting, their doors revealing glimpses of the unknown. But it was one particular night that left an indelible mark on my memory. The sound of footsteps, deliberate and purposeful, echoed down the hallway. I froze, my heart racing, as the footsteps seemed to draw closer. Yet, when I mustered the courage to investigate, the hallway was empty, bathed in an eerie stillness. As the weeks went by, the feeling of being watched never waned. The atmosphere seemed to shift with each passing day, growing heavier and more oppressive. I began to dread each shift, each moment spent within those walls that held secrets I couldn't comprehend. Then, one fateful day, Mrs. Thompson's condition took a sudden turn. Her lucid moments grew scarcer, her voice softer, until finally she slipped away, leaving behind a house that felt emptier than ever before. I thought that her passing would bring an end to the unease, that the house would finally release its grip on my mind. But as I stood in her now empty room, a sensation of being watched washed over me once more. The air seemed charged, and the weight of the unexplained settled deep into my bones. I left that house, vowing never to return, yet the memories continued to haunt me. The sound of jingling bells and whispered questions became a haunting refrain, a reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved. The memory of Mrs. Thompson's house, with its secrets and shadows, would forever remain etched in my mind. And as I moved forward, I carried with me the understanding that sometimes the line between the known and the inexplicable is blurred, and that some experiences will forever leave us on the edge of our seats, wondering about the darkness that lies just beyond our understanding.